Welcome to Tuesday. Have you ever had one of those days when so much happened that you get tired just thinking about it? I think Tuesday qualifies for Jesus. He begins the day with another trip back to the temple. Upon entering the temple courts, he is immediately questioned by the religious leaders about the source of his authority to do and say the things he does. He stymied them with one question about the source of John the Baptist's ministry. This springboarded into a long day of teaching and telling parables. He told parables about two sons, tenants and a landlord, and a wedding banquet. He answered questions about taxes, marriage and the resurrection, and the greatest commandment. He takes on a group of Pharisees regarding the origin of the Messiah and pronounces a series of condemnations upon them for their hypocritical teachings and practices. As he leaves the temple area, he stops on the Mount of Olives and enters into a discussion with his disciples about future events, including the destruction of Jerusalem and the temple, and the signs of the end of the age and the return of the Son of Man. This is followed up with three more parables. A parable about wise and foolish bridesmaids, a parable about the talents, and a parable about sheep and goats. He concludes this session by reminding them that Passover is only 2 days away and that he will be handed over to be crucified. At the same time, the chief priests and elders of the people are gathering to plot some way to kill him without sending the city into an uproar. Sounds pretty much like a full day to me. That evening, he accepts the invitation for a meal at the home of a man known as Simon the leper. Simon was a very popular name, so more than that information would be needed to distinguish him from other Simons. The leper probably means that he was someone who previously had leprosy and had been healed by Jesus. Had he still been afflicted with the disease, he would not have been able to host such an event or even been allowed to live within the community. It was in the context of this meal that an unnamed woman enters the home and comes to where Jesus is reclining at the table. She takes an alabaster jar of very expensive perfume and anoints Jesus with it by pouring it on his head. This particular event is recorded in both the Gospels of Matthew and Mark, and is the third and final instance of Jesus being anointed with such a fragrant and costly offering. The first time recorded in Luke's Gospel occurs much earlier in Jesus' ministry in the home of Simon the Pharisee. It's not possible that these two Simons could have been one and the same, as someone with leprosy could not have functioned as a Pharisee. The second occasion happened just 4 days previous by Mary at the home she shared with her sister Martha and brother Lazarus. In addition to time and location, this anointing is unique in that this woman anoints the head of Jesus and not his feet. The symbolism here points to Jesus' position in addition to her devotion. Kings and priests were anointed to their positions by the pouring of an anointing oil upon their heads. Again, there is a complaint by the disciples over the extravagant waste, suggesting that the perfume should have been sold and the money given to the poor. Jesus comes to the defense once again, stating that there will always be poor, but he, Jesus, will not always be with them. He says she has done something beautiful in anticipation of his burial, and what she has done will be remembered as a memorial wherever the gospel is preached. The lesson to be learned is that such complaints are without foundation, and such devotion is always appropriate and will be rewarded. Welcome to Tuesday.